Ole, ole, ole. Ole, ole, ole. Ole, ole, ole.
Hello and welcome to the Chef United Way. How's everyone doing this evening? Now, I always dance to that intro music, and I could see Ollie dance at the same time. And I danced a little bit too late because I know there's a little bit of a delay for what we see. So I had to quickly stop dancing before I came on screen. So I hope nobody saw that terrible, terrible dad dancing. Anyway, we're here to not talk about dad dancing. We're here to talk about Tahith Chong, or to give him his full name, Ollie. Oh, do you know what? That would have been fantastic. But Ollie was muted. It's almost like this is the first time he's ever done a video.
Gotta blame me for it. It's rookie errors. It's rookie childhood. It's because I was too busy focused around my own dad dancing that I didn't even consider the idea that I needed a microphone that worked. But of course, his name, Tahith Jose Gregorio Djorkaev Chong. Which of those middle names are you recognizing most, Nick?
I think it's Djorkaev. And why is that, Oliver?
Because he is named after the very famous French footballer Yuri Djorkaev. And yeah, I think that's quite interesting because I can't understand the connection. He's not French. Tahith Chong's not French. He's not played for, or as far as I can see, supported any teams that Yuri Djorkaev played for. They just like the name, and you've just got to respect it. You've got to put some respect on that name.
Absolutely. And he was born in, and I don't know how to say this country's name.
Curacao.
Do you say that again?
Curacao.
Okay, thank you for that. I wonder if that's got anything to do with it. I wonder whether Yuri Djorkaev was born there, or I don't know. I'm just, clutching at straws right now. But you know who else is clutching at straws, Ollie? That was a difficult segue to get out. It seems like Sheffield United are clutching at straws right now for me, because you're seeing Ipswich and Southampton being linked with £10 million moves, £15 million moves for very, very, very good championship players. And it looks like we've got, we're ChatGPT, because at the moment we are like 3 years behind, it seems. And we're going for Tahith Chong, who hasn't really done a lot for a long time. Because what I did, Ollie, I messaged a few mates of mine that do kind of Luton fan channels, Luton Twitter accounts. And I just said, why do you lot hate Tahith Chong? Because that's what it seems like. There's absolutely nothing on Twitter in any of the comments that's constructive about why they have kind of fallen out of love with this player. However, I do have some quotes from them, and we will get onto them very, very soon. But I was excited when I heard this. You were excited when you heard this. A lot of Blades were excited when you heard this. Why?
I was excited for a multiple of reasons. Let's go with the first one, the easiest one. Let me take you back to Football Manager 2019, Nick.
Oh, God.
You're out there, you're looking for a hero. You need somebody to come in, lead your team to Champions League glory. Well, there's a youth player in Manchester United's academy. He's going to be 5-star. He's going to run the world. And he ran the world many a time for many a year with my Football Manager teams. Of course, I'm talking about the legend that is Tahith Chong, who was a hero for I think it was my Arsenal side back in 2019 as we dominated through the leagues. But of course, that's not the real universe in which we live. So the second reason to be excited for Tahith Chong is I actually think he perfectly suits what we're looking for at United right now. When you look at his stats and you look at some of the information that comes through, he's in sort of the top 10% for people winning recoveries in the opposition third. He's very high in terms of his pressing stats, the way that he can make sure he's putting pace on and sort of harrying defenders. It feels like the right kind of signing we want to make for Ruben Sayers' system. Now, let's take the negative around what Ruben Sayers' system might be to one side. Let's put that over there and go, we'll solve that problem tomorrow. For today, I think this is an exciting signing because we've seen a player who has come through and had some fantastic moments in the Championship, both for Luton and for Birmingham City, where he's looked like a star at championship level. We know he perfectly fits the system that United are trying to play, and I think his high pressing energy is going to be massive. He's also bigger than most of the players we've got at 6'1". Like, he doesn't look a big player in a Luton team. In the Sheffield United team, he's going to look like a giant. He also has a pedigree behind him. And let's be honest, there's one thing that if you are a Sheffield United fan, you look at our team, there's something we're missing. We don't have what is known in the business as masters of the dark arts. And
oh, I thought you were going to say an afro. So I'm a little bit disappointed about that.
Okay, there's two things that's missing from this current United team that everybody loves. We are missing somebody who is that kind of master of the dark arts, as I say, somebody who can rile up the away end, who can get the fans a little bit annoyed, shall we say. He can wind up the opposition. He can draw fouls, draw yellow cards, draw red cards. He's going to be perfect for the fans getting behind him. And yes, Nick, after the huge success of Hamza Chowdhury last season, it is nice to have an afro back in the team.
Yay! Yeah, it really is. I'd love to have an afro. Ginger afro probably wouldn't work. However, I'm going to kick you off with.
You could get it up, Nick, by working with that guy from Man United who says that the next time they win 5 games in a row, I'll cut my hair. Well, currently it's out here, and he might be going forever. You could make a similar kind of deal right here, right now. We want a ginger afro. Don't cut your hair until United win 5 in a row, Nick.
Yeah, that's. I'm going to struggle. Last season would have been fine. Might have been fine. Did we win like 5 away games in a row? 5 or 6, something like that.
Least,
that is unheard of right now, thinking about it. But let's go through the basic information. You've already alluded to this already, Ole. 6'1", and that's taller than what I thought he was. I don't know whether the hair adds anything on, but 6'1". That's what he is. He's 25 years old, was born in 1999, which is crazy to me. It really is. That's 12 years younger than me. Wild. So position-wise, he is primarily an attacking midfielder, has played as a winger in the past, which that's obviously what we're going to use him for as a winger, because we love square pegs in round holes. He is left-footed, which I didn't know. That's terrible. I know. I am a football fan. I did not know that this player was left-footed. I've not seen a lot of him, but every time I have seen him, I've really enjoyed watching him. And I think that one little moment against Liverpool where he scored the opening goal is what stuck in my brain. And I've seen a few tweets about that as well. And lastly, the fee is believed to be around 2.5 million to 3 million, which is half of what Luton paid for him when they got promoted to the Premier League. His career so far, he started in the Feyenoord Academy, joined Man United at 16. I'm just going to quickly run through these really quickly. Very limited first-team chances for him, mostly in cup competitions. He went on loan to Werder Bremen, which is quite a cool loan, actually. How many games was that? 13 games, 0 goals. He's not somebody that's a prolific, easy for you to say, goal scorer. Yes, teeth in. Club Bruges, then he went to in 2021, obviously in Belgium. Again, no goals, 10 games. Then he went to Birmingham on loan, and this is where he really kind of hit his stride. 20 games on loan, 1 goal. 20 games on loan, 1 goal. I said that right. And then he went permanently to Birmingham, 38 games, 4 goals. And that's where, he caught everybody's eye. And obviously, he caught people's eye at Man United for different reasons, but footballing reasons this time at Birmingham City. I think everybody looked at him and thought, we would love to have him in our side. And obviously, Luton signed him for 5 million when they got into the Premier League. And I think to outsiders, you could probably say that he seemed like he had a good season at Luton. I think it was kind of a bit hit and miss, but when he was on TV, he always seemed to play well for me. You've alluded to it as well already, Ole, that, Blades fans, yourself, I really like the look of him, but I'm going to quickly run you through, and I'm going to literally read this word for word so that nothing's lost in translation. I'm going to read you through what, firstly, teams like Luton, Oliver has said about Tahith Chong. Chong came in as a strong favourite at Luton, however, only showed his potential in slight moments in the Premier League. Looking slow and not the best on the ball. Slow is something that I have not heard about this kid, but I think that's more slow on the ball. We'll have to wait and see if he is going to sign for the Blades. Anyway, last season, us as fans expected Chong to tear up the league. However, looked poor in opening games and was one of the many players that looked like they didn't want to be there. And I think that tends to happen when you start losing games of football. And hopefully that doesn't happen for the Blades and we turn it around very, very quickly, because I've seen a lot of people kind of liken us to Luton, which is a little bit too early for that one. After a poor last year, fans have expected him to move on due to heavy wages and bad attitude. Still without making an appearance this season, the town fans have yet to make their mind up on Chong at the club, showing the negative comments. However, shown from his past at Birmingham, he can definitely compete in the Championship and should be a good deal for both clubs, with Luton bringing in money and United signing a great player on his day. So there's a lot of negativity there, but laced with some positivity, which is always nice. I'm going to quickly run through Oak Road Hatter's comments as well before we move on, because I feel it's the right place to just put them all together. So Oak Road Hatter, they are a podcast too. I think there's a fair amount of negativity around Chong and a nonplussed attitude to his departure due to his output for us. He signed for £5 million in July 2023, a big fee for us. Do you know what? It would have been a big fee for us before we got promoted to the Premier League, because I think it was John Egan at 4 million at that point. 3 million, 4 million, something like that. So 5 million was a big fee for them back in the day. And with loads of expectation, having torn us apart for Birmingham in a 5-0 win at the Kenny less than 2 years before. In reality, we've seen a player lacking in confidence for the most part. He'll be remembered for the opening goal in the 1-1 home draw with Liverpool during the Premier League season, but otherwise for contributing only 1 assist in 70 games as a attack-minded player. Ultimately, he's been part of a squad that has disappointed for a long time and hasn't shown the attitude or desire to dig in and turn things around when the chips are down. Now I'm going to stop talking for a while. Thank you to Oak Road Hatter. I really struggle to say that. And teams like Luton, go and check them out on Twitter. So to me, I feel like this sounds like he needs a new challenge. What do you think, Ollie?
Completely agree. It just feels as though there's come to a natural point for him and Luton to break. It doesn't feel like that's the right environment for him or the right place for him to continue to develop as a player. I think obviously the Luton fans, I imagine there's not many players they've got good things to say about over the last couple of years. You know, following their promotion to the Premier League, it's all gone so dramatically wrong for them that anybody who's played for them during that time is going to be affected by that negativity. They're going to have just been dragged down by the overall kind of weight that was on the club at the moment. So I don't want to judge Chong too harshly by what's happened there. I think we're talking about the potential he had at Birmingham, where he was a very good Championship player. I think we're talking about the potential he's shown at times in the Premier League when he was representing Luton, you know, like in the Liverpool game we've talked about, but also in many games in the Premier League. When I watched Luton, he stood out to me as somebody who really could step up to the level when he had the opportunity. So for me, I definitely think there's a real player in here. And yes, the negativity is really sad to hear. Hopefully that bad attitude doesn't run on to what we're seeing at Bramall Lane. You know, we've started this season atrociously. I think we've seen in certain games at certain moments that sometimes our attitude can be a little bit off. Things such as we go 1 goal down and the heads go down and everyone's sort of complaining at each other. There's been arguments with the fans. So hopefully that negative attitude almost that's being reported isn't going to come through. But I'm excited for the potential this move has on the pitch. I think there's a real sort of opportunity for him to redesign himself in a team that hopefully will be back up towards the top end of this division, and he can show everything that he's about and hopefully be part of a successful team, well, potentially for the first time in his career, because I'm not sure the Birmingham team he played in were particularly good.
No, I don't think so. They were during a bad time, weren't it, for him? And they were, going up against the owner and stuff. So I'm going to quickly run through his strengths and his weaknesses from what I've picked up. Dribbling ability, I think it's there to be seen. He's a direct runner, good close control. Versatility, as we mentioned earlier on, he's an attacking midfielder, but he can also play as a winger, left-footed. Not sure whether we're going to play him on that right-hand side. Some cutting in onto his left foot like Brooks does. I know, but what I find weird, and we'll break off just for a second just to talk about this, because what it felt like at the weekend was that Sidney Peck was sat in a defensive midfield role, which is not his role, in my opinion. And then Gus and O'Hare were a lot further forward, and they were playing as sort of two tens, if you like, for me, or maybe just a little bit further back. He feels like he's in that role as well. When we're crying out for some sort of defensive destroyer, if Soumaré is not the man that they expected him that he was, we need to bring somebody else in like him, like a Vinny Souza. But we're then going for another attacking midfielder. So it makes me wonder whether we're bringing him in to play as a right winger, cutting in on that left foot, which is a bit of a worry, seeing as though that's not his position. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think I really like his versatility, because I do think there's a number of different roles that he can play. I know he doesn't naturally play deeper, but I do think he could play a little bit deeper in terms of that central midfield role at United. With his energy, with his pressing, with his physicality, that could be something we look to develop out of him. I know in the Man U Academy ranks, he did play deeper. He wasn't always an attacking midfielder. He also played some games deeper in the centre of midfield. So it's something he's got a little bit of training to do, but it certainly feels to me that he's being signed to be a right winger. That's where I would expect to see him play the majority of his games for United. And I think that is an area we need a player. If I'm being brutally honest, I like Andre Brooks, but clearly he's not the finished article. He can't play 46 games in that position. Clearly Sellés doesn't fancy him, because we've already seen Callum O'Hare play there. Please no. And we've already seen Tom Cannon play there. Actually, is Callum O'Hare available? We need somebody to go out and be an option on that right wing. And so I think Hamza hopefully will fill a hole in the squad. I think his versatility means we could see him in a number of different positions. But there's positivity about this. I like this move. I like a lot of the business. Individually, I think Danny Ings is a good footballer. I think he'll score goals and he'll be fine. Individually, I love Japhet Tanganga. He fills a hole in the squad, can replace Harry Souttar. I like Tahith Chong. I think he's a good player, ready to step up to the Championship, and is a ready-made player to come in and contribute to the first team straight away. I'm still begging the question of, what is the plan? What are we building for? We have a huge hole in the center of our team that we've signed a player for, and Sellés admitted today in his press conference, I just didn't play him, didn't fancy it. Okay, well, Soumaré is clearly not the answer to our midfield problem then, is he? We clearly need somebody else to come and do that job. And so I'd like us to be focusing our attention around getting that player rather than a couple of nice-to-have players in other areas. But we had a hole in the squad. It's now filled. This is a positive move. I do like Chong coming in. I still think there's a lot more work we need to do. But as we've seen today, these deals can come out of nowhere. This isn't potentially like United were 12 months ago. There's not going to be 4 weeks of rumours and then 6 days of potentials and then some winks and then some, maybe. It's going to be done quite quickly in terms of when these things come through. So hopefully this is a positive sign for the rest of the window that we will fill those defensive midfield slots. And right now we're just making sure we've got everywhere else filled out.
Yeah, I think you're right. The other thing is what I was going to mention in regards to strengths is his work rate. Maybe not at Luton as of late, but he presses really, really well. And I think before Sayers even managed a game for Sheffield United, we all thought that he was going to play this really high intense press. And we've not necessarily seen that. And I don't know whether that's because we don't have the players to play that way. I think that Chong will offer us that. And if he is playing as a right-sided attacker, he will be pressing, and he'll press the defenders. He'll press them into making mistakes, and hopefully that helps us out a little bit. I'm going to go on to his weaknesses in a second, which one of them is injuries. And travelling Brian, absolute legend. I thought that was travelling Blade for a second. I might be playing on the word there, but his injury record is horrendous. Now, you said this before, Ollie, and I don't know whether Transfermarkt has missed something, but there's two glaring injuries that he's had. One in 16-17, which was a knee injury that kept him out for 301 days when he was playing for Manchester United or not playing for Manchester United, which is obviously a hell of a lot of games, almost a year out. In 2021, 2022, 111 days. Wow, 111 games would have been a lot. 111 days for Birmingham City with a groin, undergoing groin surgery. And that missed 18 games. So to me, there's two big injuries there. Doesn't seem to be too much more, but as you alluded to off camera to me, he is currently injured, isn't he? Or he was injured.
As I understand it, he's not played any games yet for Luton this season. He picked up an injury in pre-season and he's currently out injured. We don't know, obviously, how long or what injury it is that he has got at the moment, but I certainly wouldn't be expecting him to come in and contribute in the immediate future. I don't think he'd start on Saturday, for example, if we get this one announced today. I think this is a longer burn in terms of when he's going to be able to contribute to the squad and really help us going forward. But yeah, it feels weird when you say that they're the injuries he's had, they're the big injuries, because in my head, he's somebody who has just always been blighted by them throughout his career. So it's good to hear that it's not as bad as I'd predicted, but there is still some questions for me. You know, for Luton, he's been there 2 seasons, maximums, about 80 games across the 2 divisions. He's played 60. So there's still a lot of games sort of within that he's maybe not appearing in, that he's not playing, whether that's because he's not picked or if it's little niggly injuries that maybe just cause you to miss one game, miss the odd one here and there. It means you're being rested on Tuesday nights between Saturday games. There's just a bit there for me that I'd like to know a little bit more about, but I never will because I'm not a doctor and I'm not doing the medical. So no one's going to tell me. So I don't know why I'm asking.
I'm glad you're not as well, mate. I'm glad you're not. So my takeaways from this, if we're trying to be as positive as possible, which we are with this signing, I don't think this is a bad signing at all. It's a low risk, potentially high reward signing because Luton bought him for 5 million. We're buying him for half that. So I think that's good business. I think it's definitely going to add depth to our squad. It can obviously play in a few different positions. And I actually think that this could, add a bit of unpredictability to our attacking play. It's been very, very predictable in the first few games of the season. You were mentioning earlier on about hopefully he doesn't carry on with this bad attitude that Luton fans think he's got. And obviously lots of Blades players are rumoured to have bad attitudes right now and not be, buying into Sayers' system. He feels like somebody that if you've got him on the right day, he's going to be a really, really big asset for you, whether that be how good he is at football or whether that be him doing a bit of S-housery and things like that. But I'm excited for him. I'm really excited. He's going to change the tempo of the game as well. Like I said, he's very, very... he presses really well. He's quick. And I think the biggest problem that Luton fans have had with him over the past sort of couple of seasons is that he's quite wasteful with the ball. Not a lot of assists there for an attacking midfielder, not enough goals for an attacking midfielder. He does remind me, just from reading words on a document, he does remind me of a Callum O'Hare type of player that's always busy, maybe doesn't put the numbers on the board as much as what they should do for an attacking player. Do you see similarities in him and Callum O'Hare in that sense?
It's exactly what I was going to say. I think if you're talking about a high press system that United maybe want to start to adapt, if we're talking about wanting attacking players to be really always causing problems, harrying defenders, Chong and O'Hare next to each other, there'll not be many players in this division who put up better pressing stats than they do in terms of the energy, the sort of pace behind the press, the way that they keep it going throughout the majority of the 90 minutes. I think that would be absolutely huge in terms of us trying to implement this system. I think for me, there's 2 key differences, though, between Chong and O'Hare. I think O'Hare is better on the ball. I think he's more likely to play into sort of integral passes. He's more likely to, he doesn't get assists, but he's more likely to be the one who plays the pass before the assist. And I know that sounds like nonsense in terms of stats, but actually when you watch the game, he opens up gaps that some of the other players don't see. He's able to work in really small spaces to create. I don't think Chong's going to be that player, but but I think Chong's going to be more likely to win the ball high. I think O'Hare press as well, but I don't know if everybody else knows this. My dad complains about it all the time. He runs and the player always just passes it a second before he gets there. He's always one step away. Whereas I think Chong is going to be that little bit faster. He's going to have that little bit more bite in terms of him being able to push forward. And I think he's going to really cause some of those high turnovers that we are trying to develop. So I think the two will complement each other really well. If Chong can win it and then find O'Hare in those tight spaces, that's where we're really going to hurt teams. And I do think there's starting to be, for me, a huge understanding of maybe what we want this team to do if we're trying to bring in this kind of player, because he feels like he just suits the system perfectly.
Yeah, I also feel like we were saying earlier on about maybe some players have got bad attitude at the moment. Bringing in so many new players, this is going to, create a bit of, I don't know. It's like when you're playing for a Sunday League team and then 5, 6, 7 players are all trialing. You're all just vying to keep your place, to be in that starting 11, and you don't know who's coming in, who's going to impress, who's not. So I'm quite excited about all these signings coming in. I don't think they're going to gel straight away, don't get me wrong. And for Sayers, I feel like they need to gel really, really quickly, because his neck's going to be on the chopping block if we don't, start putting some points on the board. It could be as early as the next game. Lots of people have rumored that as well. So it's going to be an exciting few games, and obviously it's going to be an exciting few more days because we've still got more transfer window to go. So I think we'll continue to see more players coming in, more players being rumored, because we are kind of, I don't know, like you said the other day, scattergunning and just trying to see who's available. And even if we're not bringing in players that are going to win us the title, it's really, really exciting. I don't know about you.
Just like making signings. And you know what? One of the key things for me is, look, the squad needs so many players. Like, let's be frank about it. Squad's poor. Like, it's not a good depth. There's nothing there behind the first team. And to be honest, from what we've seen in the first team, they look a bit ropey. So it's nice to see us bringing players in. You really want to see them coming in, being able to contribute. We want to know that it's first teamers. These aren't randoms that are coming out of Bulgaria and are going and sitting as under 18s. Like, we're actually getting proper players to come and play for United. And yes, it's the 28th of August. And yes, we should have done this 3 months ago. But it is exciting to see that at last we are doing something that is going to positively impact us on the pitch.
Absolutely agree, mate. I think we're going to leave it there. But before we go, I want to say, I love that home shirt. I will buy that home shirt. Let's see it in a little bit more detail.
This is the home shirt. It's sponsored by Midnight.
Right, Ole, it's your turn to ask me about my T-shirt now.
Nick, tell us all about your T-shirt, because I'm excited about what you've got going on.
Hey, we've got a Not One for Neutrals T-shirt. And do you know why I brought that up, Oliver?
Oh, why did you bring it up, Nick?
Because this is my new YouTube channel. I'm not going anywhere. The Sheffield United is not going anywhere. But I've just started a YouTube channel in the last few weeks, which is nostalgic look back on a manager's first 10 signings, last 10 signings, their first 11, the first Blackpool team to play in the Premier League, the last Bolton team to play in the Premier League. It's very exciting stuff, guys. So go over and subscribe to Not One for Neutrals. The reason why I did that as well was because I was speaking to a lovely, lovely gentleman at the match the other day, and he said, what's that new channel that you've just started? Because I didn't quite get it. He said it twice, but I didn't get it either time. So I thought I would just let you know, Not One for Neutrals. Go over and subscribe now, because we've got about nearly 500 subscribers. So if we could get to 500 very, very soon, I'd really appreciate it. And we've got over 200 people in here. So we could be at 700 subscribers by the end of this video. Show us your ginger chest, Nick. That's one of the comments. Fantastic. I actually have got a tattoo on my chest, so you can't see any ginger hair. So there you go. Got it out. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you, Ole. You look like you're going to hyperventilate.
It caught me off guard. I was like, Nick, it's not even the watershed. Put it away. Although maybe that was just something to interest all of our female fans and keep them coming back.
Exactly. And I've ever shown you my tattoo.
No,
you would love it.
I can't wait.
Love it because you're a geek You will love it.
Can't wait. Sheffield United Way After Dark. Join us in about 45 minutes and we'll all get to see Nick's tattoo.
Sign up to the Patreon. No, I'm only joking. We don't do that. We don't do that around here. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us today, guys. And thank you, Ollie, for being here as always. I know you've given up your time this evening to jump on this. It's United's fault. They need to get the business sorted earlier, then we can be more prepared. We're not prepared. Sort it out, United. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll catch you next time. Over the blades.
Ollie, ollie, ollie. Ollie, ollie.